Well, joining me here on the boundary now, Jim Maxwell. This weekend marks a very significant moment in Australian sport. It's the start of the Bodyline series 80 years ago, and also the first time that the ABC broadcast cricket. That's a remarkable innings, isn't it? 80 years.
Yes, and we're still going strong. And I'm not 80 years of age, despite the fact that a lot of people might think I am, but I'm probably about half of the 80 years. So there's a rich history, and it continues very strongly today, as it did back then when it really did generate a massive sale of radios, because in those formative days of broadcasting, there weren't many people who had radios. But cricket brought something they really were interested in to them, and if they couldn't get to the game, they could listen to it on the radio. I mean, it was an extraordinary invention for people to listen to anything on, but cricket was really used in a way, I suppose, to sell more radios than anything else that went on the radio in those pre-war days, with the synthetic test matches that followed from England, when they used to make up the commentary in 1934 and 1938.
And that's the classic footage we've seen where the man's banging the ball onto the bat to make the sound effects.
That's correct. And it became quite competitive. There were a number of radio stations who used to do the coverage, and they used to try and outdo each other in terms of anticipating a dismissal from the cable information they were getting. And one of them had this thing called Rickety Kate that they used to whirl around and make a noise, and it got people's attention to the fact that a wicket was going to fall. They didn't always get it right, of course, which is a problem, and then they'd be sort of muddling around saying no, it was actually a no ball or something like that to cover themselves. But it was extraordinary to think in that era people used to actually go out in the middle of the night when Australia was playing in England and stand in the city, in Sydney and Melbourne, and listen to the broadcast coming out on a loudspeaker system, because a lot of them couldn't afford to go and buy a radio and listen to it.
It's quite remarkable. You think back, because in those days, I'm sure they called it a wireless, and there was like a big bulb inside it that was all part of the mechanism. Today, with your broadcasting, you're sitting up there with computers and phones, and information is coming to you very, very quickly. The stats and facts and figures that you've got at your fingertips. It's a completely different world 80 years on, isn't it?
Yeah, we're a bit overwhelmed in this info world and social networking and the rest of it. So sometimes you just blink and say, no, I'll just talk about the game for a while and ignore all this material that's being flung in front. But it's still essentially a business of storytelling about a drama that's unfolding in front of you. And you'd like to think 100% of the time it's totally unscripted what you're seeing in front of you, and I'm sure it is. But that's the joy of it, that you've got good personalities around you to talk about a game that most Australians have loved for over 100 years. So it's terrific that radio is able to make that connection between the audience and the game. And that's what the ABC's been doing for 80 years.
Indeed it has. We have a wonderful cake here from Cricket Australia to say congratulations to ABC Grandstanding. Jim, if you'd like to just come forward and have a little look at that, would you? You could even dip your finger in the eyes.
No candles?
Well, I thought that if we put candles in it, it would sort of represent that you turned 80, and I wouldn't want to imply that at all.
Oh, well, there are probably a few people there who think I am, but
some people did suggest I should ask you, what was it like broadcasting 80 years ago? I couldn't be that rude.
No, well, I'll tell you that the big change probably has been in the style. As a nation, we become more relaxed with each other and the way we conduct our business. The radio's the same. It started out being quite formal between a guy who called the shots and the other fellow who came in at the end of the over. Now it's a conversation. You only have to listen to Kerry O'Keefe with our commentary team and you'll get the picture there. And because it's radio, you get the chance to talk about a lot of other stuff other than what's happening in the middle. Although for this test match, I think we can concentrate on the game. It's very absorbing.
It is indeed. There's a famous song, Video Killed the Radio Star. It appears that the ABC, 80 years of broadcasting and still going strong. So we look forward to many, many more years, particularly with you at the helm.
Well, I hope I'm around till I'm 80 anyway, because we'll have fun doing what we're doing and maybe occasionally having a few candles on a cake like this. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's great to have this connection and recognition for what the ABC's done.